Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Many of you are unfamiliar with the court case House versus NCAA. It is a case that is groundbreaking and is set to go to court in January of 2025. What is it, you ask? Well, it is an antitrust suit against the NCAA that is suing for back payment for NIL, name, image, and likeness, and all the revenue that players should have made appearing in video games and other events prior to the advent of NIL. If this case goes against the NCAA, the institutions as a whole will be looking at forking out over $4 billion. That is a lot of money. So much so that each institution is squirreling away anywhere from $12 to $20 million to possibly pay for any judgment against them. And while this may be a huge sum for some institutions, but the big schools like Georgia or Texas or Michigan, just a drop in the bucket. Still, these guys, they don't want to pay that money. So what are they doing? The Big Ten leaders and the SEC leaders, they're all coming together now to try to come up with a way to eliminate paying any kind of money into judgments. So what do they come up with? They have decided to come up with a plan to have revenue sharing with the athletes. So they're going to pay them to try to appease them, and if that works, then the antitrust lawsuit, House versus NCAA, just may go away. Or will it? I'm thinking this. If they're able to come up with a revenue sharing plan, that would be great for the athletes. But the former athletes that didn't get a cent, they're already hot because they see what's going on. They want some of that money. So they'll get some settlement if the case is won. But if they lose and the case goes away, then the old athletes won't get a thing. And I think that's where the problem is. The SEC and the Big Ten, they're working together, and it kind of pushes the smaller guys to the side. And I think what's going to happen, it's going to be another antitrust lawsuit filed against the Big Ten and the SEC, colluding against the smaller institutions. And if that's the case, all these little back deals that they're making now, it's just going to come back to bite them in the backside. And I see it coming. They don't see it coming, but they're always trying to outslick people and not pay what they really want to pay. They have the money to do so. They probably could have settled this House versus NCAA out of court, and it would have been a whole lot less expensive for them. But no, greed. Greed is always at the forefront of any financial deal. Everybody's trying to get more than their fair share, and if you can't get more than what you wanted, at least you get a little bit more than what you thought you were going to get. So it'd be a win-win situation if you can cut somebody out and then have no repercussions for that. But I think it's going to be some repercussions. Either way, the NCAA institution is going to have to back pay these old players. The new players is the best of all worlds, and now that the engine has moved forward, there's no way that it's going to ever go back. So the kids coming out of high school now, oh, you're talking about perfect timing. Unless a war breaks out or the draft comes in, any kind of top athlete is going to be in great position. But speaking of great athletes, I just want to make this point. I saw a video of a recruit for a future class down the road who's supposed to be a 5-star recruit. And they start showing these highlights. Big name institution. I'm not going to say where because it'll be easily identified. But as I see in these highlights, he's throwing a lot of passes behind the receiver. He's got a little bit of speed. He's not running a whole lot, but when he does run, the lanes are so wide open because the team he plays on has got so many stars on it. It makes this guy look better than what he really is. But I'm thinking, I could have made that throw when I was in school. I could have ran through those wide open lanes, but the style of play that they have now, it fits me greatly. They didn't have back then. But I knew my limitations as a passer. And as I look at these tapes, and they talking about how great these young guys are, and I just don't see it. And I don't see, just like the NIL going backwards, I don't see the style of play getting away from the wide open fast action that you have now with these spread quarterbacks. But are they really that good? I don't think so. There's some that can sling it and run it, but to do both effectively, seriously effectively like they're getting credit as doing, I just don't see it. And if all these guys were so great, then why don't they all make it to the highest level? You hear the same kind of thing every year. These recruiting services hype these guys up, and they don't care as long as they get them recruited and they go on to the next level. It makes that recruiting service look good. But I think they should be held accountable for producing players that can't play. Because if you have a business or a brand and you recommend somebody that turns out to be a dud, word is going to spread in whatever industry you're in, and it's going to tank your reputation. But it doesn't seem to be the case for these recruiting agencies. They put these stars on these athletes, and when they boil all down to the gravy, they can't play. So it's a good day to be an average athlete, because with NIL, you can go to college and get paid, never have to touch the pros, and it'll all be worth it. Before, you can go to college, have a great career, and don't pan out in the pros, and then you're no different from the guy that sat on the bench for 3 years. It's the same thing. But new day, I'm glad the guys are getting paid, but if you're going to make this money, justify it by putting some good product out on the field. Right now, I'm just not seeing it. This has been Sports for Real.